Hi, and welcome to Conversations with the Experts. I'm Karin Melvin, the Voice Institute Director for the International Association of Laryngectomies, and I'm joined today by our host, Tara Huberty, and by Jeremy Dice. So I'm going to turn it right over to the two of you. Take it away.
Hi, Jeremy.
Hey, Tara.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's good to see you again.
Yes, you too. So let's just go ahead and start off. Tell me a little bit about your journey from diagnosis to recovery.
Yeah, so I was diagnosed with adenoid cystic carcinoma back in October of 2017, and I had just been married for like 3 or 4 months, so that was kind of a crazy time period because I'm just now um, getting into marriage and trying to figure out a cancer diagnosis at the same time. So I had my diagnosis in about October. Basically, I was having a hard time breathing. I just thought maybe it was asthma or something. I wasn't really sure, and then went to the doctor a few times because it wasn't like the first time they figured it out. So went to the doctor a few times, and finally, I got a CT scan, and they noticed um, a tumor that was in my esophagus or in my airway, right below my larynx, and so they did a debulking, and then we found out it was cancer. So that was a pretty hard time. I was actually about to go on a job interview like the day I found out. So it was like very dramatic. Like I didn't know what was gonna happen with everything. So cancel the interview. And so it was pretty upsetting. But um, that so that was in October, and then in January of the following year, I decided to get the surgery for the laryngectomy. I kind of wanted some time to like process everything, and by the time like January came around, like I was ready for it. Like I had come to terms with like the fact that this was gonna happen by then. So at the surgery in January, was in the hospital for about 9 days or so, and that wasn't a lot of fun. Like the surgery wasn't ideal, but you get through it. Like it was tough. And it wasn't as like bad as I thought it was. But looking back, I mean, during it didn't seem ideal, but it definitely wasn't the worst thing that could happen, right? And then I have had some recurrences since then. So I had a liver metastasis about a year later, and had to get radiation and ablation for that. So that's the relatively long story of where I am today.
Yeah. Did you say that was 2017 you were diagnosed?
Yeah, in October.
Crazy. It's been 4 years.
I know, right? I think about that a lot. I'm like, man,
Right. What advice do you have for somebody getting ready to go the laryngectomy surgery?
it's definitely going to be hard in the beginning. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but you can get through it. Like, I, it's a lot of uncertainty going into it. Obviously, like you don't really know what's going to happen. Like, you worry about a lot of things. And I would just like to say, like, take it one day at a time. That's kind of what helped me through everything, was like not worrying about down the road, just like worrying about the next immediate thing really helped me get through everything instead of like, because of the magnitude of it all at once is kind of stressful. So again, just worrying and thinking about the next thing really helped me.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for any caregivers?
I think be patient is one of the biggest things. I think you don't really know what the person's going through, and it's just really hard to communicate. Obviously, at the beginning, when you don't know how to use a EL or esophageal speech or anything like that, so it's very frustrating not to be able to communicate and being isolated like that. So you feel isolated, and I think you need to reach out both ways. It's on the responsibility of the patient and the caregiver, but for also for the caregiver, like uh, I encourage them to like reach out to other caregivers, because I know that was really helpful for my wife. Like, I don't know what it's like to be a caregiver, but I can't relate to that. So she was able to reach out to the community and really has helped other people as well as gotten a lot of help back. So that's something I would definitely recommend.
Yes. You have a great caregiver.
Yeah, I do.
What do you want medical professionals beginning to work with laryngectomies to know?
One thing, and I don't know, it's kind of related, but like, I'm surprised by how people get confused between when like a tracheostomy is and a laryngectomy. So like, I always get that. Surprisingly, like people seem to get that confused. So like, just like terminology, I think is kind of important to know. But also like, obviously the medical field is very broad, and every person in the medical field has a different job role, right? So I would like for them to think about what their job role is and how that may be different for a laryngectomy patient. So, for example, like I was getting an MRI. I think it was a few months. I've gotten many MRIs, unfortunately. One of them, and like I had to lay on my stomach. That's what they wanted me to do, and like that was not ideal for me because like I had to be like on a pillow, and like I was worried I wasn't gonna be able to breathe, obviously. So that got resolved, but just having that foresight of like, hey, like this procedure, whatever this is normally this. So like, wow, would this maybe be different for a laryngectomy patient? You know, not having them to do something like that beforehand, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that is very true. What emotional impact did losing your voice have on you?
I think one of the biggest things is the loss of independence. Like it's been a struggle, like feel like I can't do things, you know, like or not wanting to do things because like I'm worried about what other people will think or what I may or may not be able to do. I mean, just going to like ordering something at a food restaurant. We've been to the food restaurants together, you know, and tried to order food. Like you would think that would be easy, but like it's not, you know. So those basic things of like just those social interactions is much different or much more difficult sometimes, and that does take a toll emotionally because you're just like, why can't I do this? Is there something wrong with me? You know, and you start taking it internally. And I think like the diagnosis of a laryngectomy, like I think in the beginning you think a lot about the physical aspects of it, you know, like how is this gonna change? Like I don't, you know, about the logistics of it, but you don't really think about the emotional impact that it can take on you.
Yes. All right, let's see. What have you learned about yourself because of this experience?
So I think I'm a lot stronger than I think I am. Like I'm even kind of prepping for this. Like I'm like, dang, I've been through a lot, you know, like and I've done a lot since then, you know, and just reflecting on like you can do things, you know, and like it's not all doom and gloom, you know, like I often like, oh, can I do this? Can I not do this? Or like, what are my limitations? And like, there are obvious limitations, you know, but I think it's more of a mental thing than it is anything. You know, if you think you can do it, you can do it within reason, obviously. I mean, I'm not going to go swimming, but you can do a lot.
If I go swimming, you're going to have to come swimming with me.
Maybe. I'll say maybe.
All right.
I've been in a pool, though, and that was a big step. Like, I have been in a pool, got a jacuzzi, you know, so I guess I have done that. But actually going swimming, that would be interesting.
Yes. Did you just sit on the edge of the pool or did you actually get in?
I got into the jacuzzi part, and then my sister's pool has like a beach landing thing, or I don't know what they call it. But like I laid in there, so but
Walk in.
yeah, it's like I don't know, sunbathing area.
That's awesome. All right. Did having the laryngectomy impact your job?
Yeah, I think it has, not as much as I sometimes think it has more than it has, and again, kind of again the mental part component of it. But I do support, and I've had 3 jobs since my laryngectomy, so that just kind of shows that it's affected it, but it hasn't. Like, you can still do things, and I'm still, progressed in my career. And I'm now getting a master's degree in cybersecurity. So that's been different being a student, as well. So it has, like, I rely on people differently. I've kind of adapted, like, I don't choose to use the phone. Like, I can do voice. I notice I can do voice calls, and so doing work remotely, like if I do a video chat, like people are like, oh, obviously there's something going on. If I just do a regular phone call, people tend to get confused, and I need to proactively like say, like, hey, this is going on. I'm allergic to me. I do sound a little different, right? But so it kind of hasn't. I've adapted to be able to figure it out.
Yeah. You did your interviews with your electrolarynx, correct?
Yeah.
How did that go?
The first round, like, it was better than I thought. Like, it wasn't really bad at all. Like, it was just like a normal interview, and that's one of the reasons why I work where I work in a university settings. Like, I feel like people are very open and outgoing and accepting of different people. So that was a choice I made, thinking that would be a good place. Making sure that that I was going to be in the same space, right?
That's great. And school's going well.
Yeah. This semester's been a lot more tough than last semester. Last semester was my first semester, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty hunky dory. Like, it's pretty easy." And then this semester, like, I've gotten some much more reading, a lot more papers, like 20-page papers. And like, I haven't done a 20-page paper in, like, I don't know if I ever have, honestly. So even in regular undergrad, like, so it's stressful in a way, but it's also good. Like, it's been fun, and I've been learning a lot.
Good. What is something you were told you wouldn't be able to do that you can in fact do?
So one thing I didn't think I was ever going to be able to do was like blow my nose, and I think that's kind of for you. You kind of got me to do that in a way. Like, I remember when you were here, you were like, "Can you blow your nose out?" And I was like, "No." And then after a while, I started to figure it out, and so and you would be amazed like how nice it is to be able to like blow your nose like after eating some hot chili or something. It's like, oh my gosh, like, so there's leaking.
Right. Yeah. That leaking is so annoying sometimes.
It's true.
Figure it out. That's awesome. How has becoming a laryngectomy changed your life for the better?
I definitely would say it's the connections I've made. Obviously, getting to know you has been great. Getting to know all the other laryngectomies that are out there. I just been very surprised by the outreach in the community and the larger cancer community as a whole. But being able to like help people as well as getting helped by other people has really been enormous for my recovery. And I recently had someone reach out to me from like Egypt who has ACC, also in the larynx, is maybe might have to go under a full laryngectomy right now. He doesn't right now, so think about that. So pray for that. So it's just really cool. I mean, I've been getting to meet people from everywhere, so it's been really rewarding.
Yes, the connections are great.
Yep.
All right. I think that wraps up all of our questions.
Well, this has been a great conversation, you two. And Tara, I didn't realize that you had a co-host. Who is that? Who's this wonderful pup over here who's just so happy?
She is. She's happy I'm home.
Oh, that's great. Jeremy, thank you so much. I love your advice about taking one day at a time. Really, I think this is overwhelming enough. And I think if you pile on too much, if you look too far down the road, that it can be even more overwhelming. So that's something you said that really stuck with me. And you'll have to come to an IAL meeting, you and Tara, and get in the pool because it can be done one step at a time, though, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you both. And Tara, I'll see you next time for our next conversation with the experts. Take care.
Hey.